Hi, thank you very much for being with us here today, this evening, for this chat with Ayathurai Santhan on his latest novel, Twice Upon a Lifetime. Ayathurai Santhan is a prolific writer with over 20 books to his name in Tamil and English, and his work has won the State Literary Award for writing in both languages. He has also been shortlisted for the Gratian Prize for the novel Real Run Parallel, which went on to win both the Fairway National Literary Award and the Godege National Literary Prize. His most recent offering is the novel Twice Upon a Lifetime, which was longlisted for the Gratian Prize. Twice Upon a Lifetime is about journeys, both literal and personal, and a meditation on memory, displacement, and belonging. It is this work that we are here to discuss with him, among others, today. So to start things off, Vihanga Perera will open today's conversation with Mr. Santhan. This conversation will be interspersed with readings from Twice Upon a Lifetime by 𝐂𝐲𝐽𝐿 and 𝐕hanga. Afterwards, Dr. Perera will open the floor for questions from the audience. Vihanga?
Ayathurai Santhan has been around for a long time, writing. But where English language creativity is concerned, I think that timeline falls slightly over 35 years still, right? So he's been doing a steady bit of writing, starting from the late 50s, predominantly in Tamil, published in magazines, journals, so on and so forth. But where English language writing is concerned, Santhan started off with short stories, where he had 3 collections between 1990 and 2007, 2005, and also poetry published in anthologies. In terms of long form, Santhan published a novel titled The Whirlwind in 2010, which I think brought him into the spotlight in Colombo, in the Colombo literary scene, because this book was shortlisted. It came among the last 5 of the Gratian Prize. And then after, this was followed 5 years later by Real Run Parallel in 2015, and by Every Journey Ends in 2018. And this is the 4th of a narrative which in so many ways goes through one another, is interlocked by one another. This is the 4th of that series, Twice Upon a Lifetime. So that is the man, Ayathurai Santhan. So we will probably kind of go back on his writing journey as we talk for a while. It will not only be about this novel, but also writing in general, especially the formative Santhan, the early Santhan for people who have got on the bus late. So we will try to cover some ground in the better part of an hour. So Mr. Santhan, welcome once again. So to start off, let's kind of get the picture on the table. Santhan, the writer. So I would like to rewind the tape a little bit, maybe to your earlier years when you were probably just getting into writing. Perhaps maybe when you were still only writing in the Tamil language. Can we have a kind of a picture of that time where you were first starting out as a writer, including maybe some of the influences on you in writing?
Yes, I started writing during my school days. That is in my mother tongue, Tamil. Like anyone else, I also started writing poems and then switched on to short stories. And my first short story appeared while I was waiting for my advanced level results. Then from then onwards, I started writing various magazines published in Sri Lanka, Colombo and Jaffna. And my first collection of short stories was published while I was in 𝒊𝒊𝒆𝒕𝒊𝒎𝒆. The man behind that was engineer Nithyanandan, who is here, who was my contemporary, and he was the president of the Tamil Literary Union at that time. Now he is residing in Australia. he was taking initiative to bring out that book. So while I was a student at 𝐓𝒂, my first collection of stories appeared in Tamil. Then from then onwards, I started writing in Tamil for about 25 years. And by 1990, I switched onto English as well. Because by that time, I had gone back to Jaffna. So after going there, I underwent so many dramas, so many things I have seen, and I wanted to put them in writing. And the first and foremost thing was there were people writing about the horrors of the war and the pathetic situation of the plight of the people. But though their intentions were good, they lacked the knowledge. They didn't have the first-hand information. They were just writing from hearsay. And so I thought there are so many factual mistakes and errors. For example, just to tell, they didn't know the difference between 𝐾𝐲𝐽𝐿 and 𝐾𝐲𝐽𝐿. If there was a military attack in 𝐾𝐲𝐽𝐿, they said it was in 𝐾𝐲𝐽𝐿. 𝐾𝐲𝐽𝐿 is a place closer to Jaffna town in the peninsula, but 𝐾𝐲𝐽𝐿 is far away. So like that, and they didn't know the difference between landmine and things like that. I didn't want to get into that. So I thought, why not I write in English? Shall I proceed there? Okay. So my standard of English was not that good. My field was engineering, and I didn't study literature at all, especially English literature. And even Tamil literature, I studied only up to 𝐔𝐸𝐽𝐸. So whatever my limitations were, I thought of writing something. Whatever infinitesimal, I wanted to put it in writing. My intention was not to enrich the English literature or by thinking that I was a master of the language. I just wanted to write what I knew. So I started writing. The first collection of stories, a slim collection, appeared in 1990, the Sparks. Luckily, that was a very, very, very humble edition. Because at that time, there was an economic embargo. We didn't get papers, printing papers, nothing, no printing inks, nothing. So we were printed in the cheap papers with the rough covers and everything. I printed one. And luckily, someone advised me to send a copy to Professor 𝐵𝒂𝒊𝒄𝒆, Professor 𝐷𝐶R. Still, I think I have my regards, I respect him. He went through and he didn't write anything. He just sent an acknowledgement. At a time while we were displaced, in 1995, the people from a part of Jaffna called Veligamam were displaced. They were asked to stay away from their homes, and we were refugees. We left everything, our homes, things, everything. We carried only our certificates and things like that in a suitcase, like that, a nomad life. So we were leading like that. So when I went there and we were living with Leah. Okay, is it Leah now?
Yeah.
Okay. So at that time, I was staying with a cousin of my family. I received a letter from Professor 𝐵𝒂𝒊𝒄𝒆. So it didn't come directly. It has taken about a month. It went somewhere, and came. And there was a acting post office at 𝐾𝐲𝐽𝐸, and from there it was delivered to me. When I went through that letter, I had forgotten all my losses, and I got the strength back. So he said that he wanted to take two of those stories to be included in the Penguin book of Sri Lankan short stories, and he did that. So I am ever thankful to him. And after that, there was another big person, Madam Anne Ranasinghe. So she was very much interested in the situation in Jaffna. And she was earlier in the ICRC and things like that. She was, so somehow or other she has come to know about my writings, and she wanted me to get into the English Writers Cooperative of Sri Lanka. Have you heard of that? The English Writers Cooperative. She sent me a letter asking me to join them. That also came almost at the same time. Likewise, they recharged me. They made me to start living again, and not only that, they gave me the encouragement to continue with writing in English. So from then onwards, and then, if I have to tell, there are a lot of people. Then, am I taking too much of my? No?
No.
There's a lot for me to tell. If I don't tell that, then I'll be very ungrateful. So, during those times, we never get these Colombo published papers there, and once in a way we get the mostly Sunday Observer. Am I right, Mr. Anand? So once in a way. So I used to send some short stories to Sunday Observer, and there was one Mr. Karunaratna. Karunathilaku or Mr. Karunaratna? R.S. Karunaratna, yes. He accepted and he published 5 or 6 stories. So that gave me another encouragement. And after that, there was a book review for some history book or something published by 𝐔𝐻𝐻𝒄𝒆. So I was looking for some publisher to collect all those things and get it published. So I sent a letter to 𝐔𝐻𝐻𝒄𝒆. That was not a literature book, that was history or something, and they said they wanted me to send the manuscript. So at that time there was no postal service, nothing. So I photocopied and sent it through somebody and reached. And after about a couple of months, I received a letter saying that they are accepting. That's all. Even if you want to contact him and if you have to call him at that time, it was not a matter of taking your phone out of your pocket and calling someone. You have to go to the telephone call office, book a telephone call. It's a trunk call or something, and you have to wait for 2 hours, couple of hours, and you have to wait there. They will book and they call you, then you can speak like that. So likewise, I spoke to them and they said we will publish it. And after that, I had forgotten that completely. About 5 or 6 months later, I got a call or a letter from Mr. 𝐾𝐲𝐚𝐿. You must be knowing Mr. 𝐾𝐲𝐚𝐿. He congratulated me for receiving the State Literary Award. For this, I couldn't believe. So it was like that. And there was another, please don't think that I am telling the whole stories. So, and if you want to receive the prize, you have to come all the way from Jaffna to Colombo. So, traveling from Jaffna to Colombo was out of question. It was like from one country to another. You have to get passport, visa, security clearance and everything. If you want to leave Jaffna, you have to apply for military clearance 3 months ahead, and then the clearance, and then book for the flight. The flight was the only means of transport. It was operating from Palani to Ratmanad. And so I decided not to go. So I accepted that. In the meantime, I got a letter from the cultural department signed by one Mr. D.M. Gunaratna, assistant director. I said, sir, I am happy, thank you, but I will not be in a position to come attend that. And he wrote back. So he sent another message. No, you have to come. I will make every arrangement for you to come. He was such a nice man. He sent everything. An official letter by showing that I got the military clearance within a day and the flight ticket, everything. I came here and it was at a town or somewhere. So likewise, there are so many people who helped me, who encouraged me from the south. And then came the Indian army, IPKF. I wrote a novel called The Whirlwind, the hardships the people underwent during a roundup. The IPKF rounded up our village and they kept us in a house without any warning or anything. They kept us without giving food or anything. I have written that. And they wanted to shoot me also. That was in 1977, no?
87.
87, yes. So I was much young and fatter and things like that. I satisfied all their expectations for being a gorilla. The shirts out, with the white sarong and with the plastic strap watch and everything. I fitted their expectations and they wanted to shoot me. So their operation was, they are given the name Operation Pawan. Pawan is wind. So it was not a wind for us, that was a whirlwind for the people. We lost everything. And it's a terrible story, I can't relate that story here. And I wrote those things as a small novel. And the funniest thing is, it was published in India. Okay, I sent it to a friend of mine in India, in Tamil Nadu, asking for his opinion from the other side. And he gave it to a publisher friend and they liked it. I think that was the manuscript published in the shortest time. Within 2 weeks they published it. And they wanted me to translate it into Tamil also. But that so far I didn't do. I don't know, it's getting dragged on. So, and they wanted me to attend the launch. I got scared, how to go? Then it was criticizing the IPKF and they are going to launch it. I don't know whether it was a trap or something. They will put it in the lock. They said, no, nothing. They won't do anything. You better. So I went there and came back. It was launched. That was published by, he was a leftist Communist Party man, one Mr. Comrade Krishnan, he published it. And that book, the manuscript, I sent it for Gratian. And when I came to know that it was shortlisted for Gratian. But unfortunately, you couldn't get through the final round. That book, I sent one book to Dr. Vihanga. Did I?
I bought it.
You bought it, right? Yes. At that time, I didn't know. That's correct. I had told him, there are so many things I have to verify from him. He knows much more than me about me.
We didn't know each other at that
Yes.
point anyway.
So, the thing is, I didn't know him at that time. So he bought it. And one day I received a letter saying that there was a conference, literary conference at University of California, the title Slam. That was called Slam. Still I couldn't understand the name of the slam. And he invited me. I attended that. From then onwards, Dr. Vihanga, at the time he was Mr. Vihanga, he had written about 10 criticisms about that novel. And that made me known to the readers to some extent. Likewise, the people from the south helped me a lot. Then after that, my next novel, I sent it again to Vihanga. At that time, I knew him better. Rails on Parallel. He gave to Monica 𝐬𝒑𝒐𝒏, and both of them wanted to publish it. And that also came out. And that got the Fairway Award and the Samal Awards. Likewise, I must tell you the reason. The reason for my writing is not to reach the world market or anything. My aim, my target was the southern Sri Lanka and northern India. My Tamil writings can reach northern east of Sri Lanka and south of India. But I have no ambitions of reaching the world readership or anything like that. I just wanted to reach the Sri Lankan, south of Sri Lanka and north of India, the other parts of India. So, to some extent, I am happy. I am getting there. So, for that, I must thank the great people like them.
I have a question. Do you remember my question now?
That's why at every turn I ask for your permission. Shall I go this way, this way, this way?
Which is fine. I mean, like we started, and that's how memory works. And when memory is at work, you let memory play out, right? But let me draw the discussion a little bit back in time.
Yes.
Because there are a few gaps we need to fill. We can't go with vacuums.
Yes.
So you started by saying that your early writing was exclusively in Tamil.
Yeah.
So you were more in short fiction, you were writing poetry. Are there any particular writers, they might be Tamil writers, who shaped your early writing, who influenced you?
Yes, those times, the 50s and 60s, I must tell you, the Tamil writing in Sri Lanka at the time didn't flourish much. The local Tamil writings flourished only after the 60s. Even before that, there were writers, but very few. We got all the works, or almost all the works from South India, from Tamil Nadu, starting from poet Bharadiyar and our epics, the great epics. And all those things came from Tamil Nadu, and we were influenced by them. It was natural. And those days, the modern writers of that time, like 𝐔𝐻𝐻𝐿, though he was not considered a man of high literary merit, his works were based on ethics, how the people should behave and like that. He was guiding the young people, and they were very popular among the youngsters. 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐿, he was a professor at Tamil. And then Akhil and like that. And apart from that, we had a lot of translations from the other Indian languages coming through Tamil. For example, Bengali, Marathi, Malayalam, Urdu, Hindi, and all those people, all those languages were translated into Tamil by the writers in Tamil Nadu, and they were sent to Sri Lanka also. Those days, there were direct flights from Trichy to Palali daily. So, all those magazines, the 𝐔𝐻𝐿𝐴, 𝐴𝐷𝒻𝒃𝒂, 𝐾𝐉𝒊𝒂𝒂, and all those magazines came regularly. And the books also. There was one leader called Ayathurai, and he brought down all the books. And they were very popular, and the people started reading. And that influenced us. And after that, there was a movement. Here again I have to tell one thing. During the late 50s, the Sri Lanka Soviet, at the time, the Soviet friendship started. The diplomatic relationships and the cultural relationships started, and following that, they started sending all their books translated into Tamil and Sinhala here. But there were more Tamil books because they were aiming at Tamil Nadu and other parts. I don't know how many of you knew about that People's Publishing House, which was at Kumar and Ratnan Road at Slave Island, just in front of 𝐴𝒊𝒃𝒂 Hotel. 𝐴𝒊𝒃𝒂 in Nippon, that hotel, that old hotel. In front of that, there was a small shop selling the Soviet books, Russian books translated into Tamil and Sinhala. That was actually something to do with the Communist Party also, but they were selling the masterpieces at the cheapest possible rate and a very high quality printing. So they also available. Not only the pro-Marxist, even before that, they published Tolstoy, Turgenev, Dostoevsky, and all those works also they published. And after that, starting from Maxim Gorky, they published Sholokov and all those people. All these masterpieces came. So we were influenced by that as well.
All right. So the other thing is now your first collection in Tamil, which was published during your time at Katubar.
Yes.
The title and the year. The title and the year.
Yeah, that was 1960, 70, I think. 1970. Parvai. Parvai is the vision, the look, the size. There were so many various
Connotations.
yeah, Parvai. But there, the Parvai means that something, some spiritual distinction, some healing, spiritual healing also Parvai. The Parvai, so that is, that also was there. So I said, you think, was it 1970 or? You remember? The book was published. It was 1970, I think, yes.
All right. So then we come back to the point where you enter a bilingual project writing. This is early 1990s. So from that point up to where we are now, a further 35 years have passed, right? So is there any difference that you notice about your writing, moving from completely being a Tamil writer to being a bilingual writer? Have the subjects or the kind of themes that you normally thresh out in your writing, has that changed? Have you changed as a writer? What you try to do with your writing, has it changed over that 35-year period?
No, actually, I don't do these things consciously. They come by themselves, spontaneous. And I don't see the languages as two different things. They are just...
the audience changes.
Huh? Yeah.
With the second language,
Yeah.
the audience changes
Audience
more than the language.
Yes. But though the audience changes, they are in this country. So there's not much of the cultural difference, so the understanding will not differ, I think. So I was using only two media. Depending, pointless writing about war in Tamil, because all those people in the Tamil area, they know about the hardships of war, the horrors of war. The pointless writing about that in. So I decided to write that in English. And writing about the peculiar problem in the Tamil society in English is also useless because that is aimed at the Tamil society. So the subject has chosen the medium. Apart from that, I don't see that at times I have written this first and that again and like that.
So there's a lot of overlap and echo, isn't
Yes,
it?
overlap.
Okay. So of this project writing over 30-35 years, Twice Upon a Lifetime is the latest. So I think at this strategic point, we can break out into our first reading from one of the earlier sections of the story. So probably the reader can give a bit of context and get started.
So without giving away too much of the novel, in terms of the structure, this is quite a complex novel. It's non-linear, and it's set in two continents actually. One part of the story is set in Sri Lanka, the other in Kenya. But at one point, the two narratives converge. But I won't give away too much as to why it converges and how it converges. And the novel, the protagonist of the novel is a man in his 60s called Sivan. He's from Jaffna. And the novel takes place on the road, whether it's in Sri Lanka or in Kenya. So it's a novel that reads almost like a travelogue. It's about journeys and conversations and relationships that emerge during those journeys. And the entire novel is narrated by three voices. And all three voices have one thing in common. There are three drivers. So the protagonist is Sivan, But Sivan's story we get to know through the point of view of these three drivers. Two are based in Sri Lanka, and the other driver is a Kenyan of Indian descent. And the two Sri Lankan drivers, one is a Tamil driver who drives Sivan from Jaffna to Colombo during the height of the economic crisis. So this is the height of the poor shortage, and Sivan, for whatever reason, which I am not going to reveal, undertakes a journey from Jaffna to Colombo. So the bus driver, the one from Jaffna, he's Rasu. And then after Sivan comes to Colombo, he meets another driver. He's a three-wheeler driver, tuk-tuk driver called Anil. So Anil and Sivan strike up a conversation. The conversation leads to a certain friendship, a relationship. And the excerpt we are going to read now is the moment when Anil and Sivan meet for the first time here in Colombo. And Anil becomes a very important character in this novel because he's the one who takes Sivan around this kind of both personal and metaphorical journey throughout the suburbs of Colombo. But Sivan is on a quest. He's in search of something or someone. And Anil plays a crucial role in helping him to find what Sivan is looking for. And the novel is very dialogic. Most of the novel reads almost like it unfolds like a play, and we follow the dialogues. So Vihanga and I will now read the section where Anil meets Sivan for the first time.
In my 44 years of life, I have seen many things. The second 𝐔𝐻𝐸 uprising, violence against Tamils, war, tsunami, but I have never seen Colombo lying deserted like this. No one around, even without a curfew. It's quite frightening. The streets are lined with cars, auto rickshaws and other vehicles, parked one after another, with dust visibly settling on some. Occasionally there are few auto rickshaws and some motorcycles, but no cars are seen moving. I was slowly making my way from Hill Street towards the 𝐓𝐻𝐸 junction. I have 7 liters of petrol. I had kept it for an emergency. Now, after not taking my auto out for a week, I realize I need it. How will an auto driver survive without using auto? The food stocks I had set aside for my 3 children, wife and myself are running out. The remaining ones will last just another day. In the meantime, if I can use the petrol and buy some food that will help, then I will see whether more petrol is available. But for now, my priority is to stay alive. If my wife and children only have half a meal, that's okay. But they should not go hungry altogether.
This can last 2 more days if we use it sparingly,
Lakmini had said this morning. She's a frugal person, and gives her thrifty ways that have helped us survive till now. Even today, she did not say,
go to work.
I was the one who left. She just said,
Be careful.
And reminded me,
don't agree to long distance rides.
Alright. My decision now was to go towards 𝐴𝒂𝒊𝒄𝒆 and turn back. As I approached St. Mary's Church, a man came from behind the bus stop on the opposite side, stepping out of the shadow. He watched my auto from there. He appeared to be around 60 years old, dressed neatly wearing glasses, and had a small travel bag hung on his shoulder. He shielded his eyes from the bright sun with his right hand, and his left hand was slightly extended, as if asking me to stop. I slowed down. The hand motioned for me to stop, so I gently pulled over.
Can you go to Colombo?
He asked in Sinhala. I can go, sir, I replied.
Do you have enough petrol? I need to go there and return here.
That sounds fine to me. Yes, I have enough, I said.
How much will it cost?
How can I tell you how much it is these days, sir?
That's true. Will you charge double?
He was asking in a hesitant tone, unsure of the amount. But I told him that double would not be enough.
Okay. You put on the meter and I'll pay 4 times that fare.
Looking at the man, he seemed a good person. Maybe someone in a hurry. The sun was blazing now. The right side of my body was beginning to heat up. How many others would come to pay 4 times the fare, especially when there's no one on the road?
Alright, so from there we will transition to a couple of questions. A lot to do with the trade, the kind of thing, the kind of thematic area Santhan writes on in the bigger context of Sri Lankan English writing. So I think if we compare writing about conflict in Sri Lanka to a very long river, probably we can all agree that July 1983 is the Bay of Bengal. That is where the river is heading. This has been the kind of fond itch for most writers writing about conflict in the country, except our friend Mr. Santhan. Now, if you take Santhan's corpus, we have everything but 1983, and the focus is often on either conflicts that have conveniently slipped the imagination and the memory, mainly of the the south of Sri Lanka, but also what I call the outskirts of conflict, the in-between years of conflict, years that lead up to conflict. So if you take, for example, The Whirlwind, as Mr. Santhan elaborated, it is set in 1987, that period. IPKF occupation. To the best of my knowledge, Sri Lankan English writing is yet to produce another novel centrally focused on that event. If you take Every Journey Ends, the site is 1984, not 1983. Part of the novel is set in 1984, the year after July 83. If you take Railstrand Parallel, the first part of the novel is set in 1977, once again heavily underrepresented in creative literature. The second part is set in 1979, 2 years after 77, 2 years before 81. Twice Upon a Lifetime, once again, occupies a crisis moment, but away from that crisis. So my question, specifically in relation to that bigger frame within which you work, is there a reason for you to focus on so-called those outskirts of conflict? Is there another reason why you tend to frame narrative around conflict that has slipped the imagination of the people?
No, actually, there's no particular reason. I only write about my own experiences. I was not in Colombo, there's no particular reason. I only write about my own experiences. For example, during 1983, I was not in Colombo, I was in Jaffna. But during 77, I was a victim. So I wrote about that. And by fleeing from here, I got caught in the IPKF problem and the war in Jaffna, but I wrote about that. So my policy is to write about what I experienced, what I knew firsthand. So just imagining and hearsay, referring or doing something is, I don't do. So that was the reason. And all these things I wanted to put in writing with the idea of sharing my experiences and thus bringing the understanding and understanding of people. So understanding will bring in the peace. That is the most important. Wherever you look at the human feelings and human needs are one and the same, irrespective of their language, religion, land, race, even times. they are one and the same. If they realize that they are one and the same, then there will be no difference, no enmity, no fights. Then they will be living in peace. So I wanted to put it that way.
So what about everyone doing writing but without that first-hand sincere, let's say, approach? How do you see them? Because conflict is a marketable business and everyone is in it.
I agree, but there are people doing with good intention, but with lack of knowledge. But there may be people doing with some business motive also. Because this is a sellable item, sellable subject. So they write. So I can't. These are things which we can't challenge. No? That is left to them and the readers to decide.
All right, Mr. Santhan also come from Jaffna. Can we have some idea how the Jaffna literary scene is shaping itself? Because from the little knowledge I have, the university is heavily involved in a lot of activities, and we see people coming and going, delegates of writers from Colombo, Candy. As someone who has his ear to the ground, how do you see, especially the literary scene, not specifically in English, but if you can throw in some ideas about the English scene, that's fine, but in general.
So, if you allow me to mention the names of individuals, is it okay?
Okay by me.
Yeah, but so only after the arrival of one particular person, now it's taking some positive developments. But before that, I'm so sorry. I don't want to discuss because the literature is not something which we learn for the sake of examination. That's all I can say.
All right, so then before we go to our second reading, bringing things again a little bit personal. So out of this corpus of work worthy of 2/3 of your life, is there any particular text, any particular story that is your personal favorite or that means more than the others to you, and for what reasons?
So, from my own writing, there are several writings, there are several pieces. So I don't want to say all, but there are a good number of writings even now I am happy about. When I reread them, I feel happy, I am satisfied for writing them. So that is more than enough for me, I think. Especially these novels, I think I have done my duty by sharing those things, experiences, the life to the outside world. That's all. I don't want to call them masterpieces, but for me, they were okay.
All right. So I think on that note, we can get to the second reading, after which we will actually open the game to the house after the second reading.
So, choosing the readings have been a bit tricky for this novel because this is one of the appreciations of the novel says that reading this novel is like being on a treasure hunt. It's like you yourself as the reader, you're on a quest because you're turning page after page after page, wondering what's going to happen next. So it all comes together at the end. So we've had to kind of avoid the really good parts which are at the end so as not to spoil the reading experience. But so once again we are coming to the beginning of the novel for the second excerpt. And as I mentioned, we are now coming to the point of view of Rasu, the driver from Jaffna, who is brave enough to bring his van out with like just a few liters of petrol to transport Mr. Sivan from Jaffna to Colombo. And the biggest worry in Rasu's mind is, will I be able to get to Anuradhapura? And as far as even Anuradhapura, so forget about Colombo. But along the way, there are these very interesting conversations that unfold between Rasu and Sivan. And these journeys are also a moment, an opportunity for Sivan to reminisce. There are memories central to this novel, and memory associated with places, place names, history is again a central theme in this novel. So all of these themes sort of come together in the excerpt that we are about to read.
We crossed 𝐷𝒗𝒻, 𝐴𝒃, 𝐼𝒑𝒐𝒏 and all those areas without even realizing it. All the petrol stations along the way had closed. I never proceed on my journey without paying respect at the 𝐾𝐲𝐻𝐿𝐴𝑟 temple. I stopped and got out. Sivan also got out. After a quick prayer, we resumed our journey. On the other side of the street was a small lotus pond. The fragrance of the flowers spread through the air. The bridge in front stretched far and wide.
Rasu, this bridge has significantly expanded in width since our relocation. But do you know how much trouble we had crossing this bridge in the middle of the night, around 9 or 10 p.m., during our 1995 displacement? The boys asked everyone from Jaffna to depart in a matter of hours, and the traffic was appalling.
When you live through wars, hardships, Anna, doesn't everything remind you of the past?
What else can I say? Nearly 30 years of suffering. It was a life between death and survival.
There's nothing else to remind people of those times but hardships.
Yes, but there were a couple of exceptions as well.
We looked carefully at the road as we passed.
Now, this area here. Here it is.
We pointed to a slight decline on the left side.
This is it.
The soil here was flat, and the trees were sparse. A narrow road curved and faded into the distance.
I have fond memories of this place during our time of displacement.
He smiled.
We were in 𝐴𝒊𝒄𝒆 when we first came here. From that point on, I would make it here every day. The journey by bicycle would take only 15 minutes.
I listened without interrupting, staying focused.
This place doesn't look like it used to. About 25-26 years ago, there was nothing but a dense canopy of trees here. On one side, there was a small field. On the other was a grove of maruda trees. Further along on the left, there was a beautiful, peaceful temple, the 𝐾𝐲𝐻𝐿𝐴 temple. Yes, the 𝐾𝐲𝐻𝐿𝐴 and what the Buddhists worship, the 𝐵𝒑𝒐𝒊𝒎𝒆, are one and the same.
Alright, so with that, let's open the discussion to the house, where you can share your ideas, views, get your questions channeled to Mr. Santhan.